What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me doing the PvP and PvE tier list here, guys, for Grand Cross, updated as of the beginning of May. In this video, guys, we're going to be doing the PvP and PvE updated tier list here, based on the new character releases we've gotten with the Rising of the Shield hero and also Valenti here. Now, I am going to do Galland and the Scotty on the next one, guys. So probably at the beginning of June, I'll have Scotty and Galland in that one. I actually decided not to go with them on this tier list specifically because I wanted to do the ones that are already on global first, and I usually do this around the beginning of the month. So I'll have those characters on the June one, guys, so don't worry about that. But let's talk about the characters that we have here. We'll also, you know, do some adjustments in terms of other characters like, you know, now Fumi and Raftalia and whoever else is in, you know, the Shield Hero collab that got buffed or whatever the case. So we're going to be going over all of that in this video, guys. If you enjoy videos like this where, you know, I do tier lists or content like this in general, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I definitely do appreciate it, guys. And we have both the PvP tier list, so this is the PvP one, and then we also do have the PvE tier list as well. So if you guys want to see what the tier list looked like from last month, this is exactly what it is. You guys can see my reasoning for last month's characters and check out those videos, and obviously you'll be able to see those there. I'm deciding to condense these videos in one video entirely from now on, just to be a little bit more concise. Before I was doing it in two separate videos, and it was definitely good, but for the most part it was kind of just me repeating information. So I decided we would just do it in one video here, guys, and all together. So we'll have both the PvE and PvP you know, part in this video. So we'll start with PvE. We'll do PvE first, guys. So starting with the PvE part of the tier list, we'll talk about Victoria first. So let's hop in with Victoria. Alrighty, guys, so we have Victoria here. She is the main new unit from the Rising of the Shield hero collaboration. Now, in terms of what she's able to do here, the ruler of the Fiorals, for her passive here, increases critical defense of unknown race allies by 60% for 1 turn at the start of the battle. At the start of an ally's turn, apply Queen's Authority on unknown race allies for 2 turns, limit once, and increase all stats of the hero by 5% for each unknown race ally participating in the battle. In addition, the hero's damage dealt increases by 50% when using Gale. When an unknown race ally uses a skill to deal damage to an enemy during the ally's turn, the hero gains Sharp Talon effects equal to the number of enemies who took critical damage in that turn. If the hero has maxed out the stacks of Sharp Talons at the start of the ally's turn, they will be removed and the hero gains Queen's Strike. Now, in terms of actually what the buffs are, guys, Queen's Authority is going to remove debuffs and increase critical chance by 50%. The hero's damage dealt increases by 0.3% for every 1% of remaining HP as well. And then for Sharp Talons here, it's going to be the hero ignores 15% of the target's critical resistance, can be stacked up to 3 times. And then the Queen's Strike effect is going to be damage dealt 50%, critical chance 50%, and 250% pierce rate increase. Moving on to our Holy Relic here, guys. For Victoria's Holy Relic, it's going to increase the hero's damage dealt with single target attacks by 15% for each Sharp Talon effects on the hero. So the more of those you have, the more damage you're going to get out of her single target skill. Moving on to our skills here, guys. This is our first skill, being the single target, the Piercing Gale. Decreases critical defense of one enemy by 40% for 1 turn. Then inflicts sever damage equal to 200%. This is scaling up from 200 to 300. And then the critical defense increase is going to go to, from 40 to 60 to 80, and then we're going from 300 to 500 on the rank 3 right there. Moving on to our second skill here, guys. Vicious Tempest inflicts Gale damage equal to 100% of attack on all enemies. Gale is going to ignore 30% of defense related stats and give you ×2 critical damage increase. And this scaling is going to go from 100% to 150 to 250% of attack. And then moving on to our ultimate here, guys, the Queen's Descent. And this is at 2 out of 6, so obviously bear in mind this is going to be different for you guys. But applies 1 Sharp Talon effect on the hero, applies the Queen's protection at the start of an ally's turn, and inflicts spike damage equal to 330% of attack on all enemies. The Queen's protection is going to be attack related stats 10% and defense related 10%, and then obviously spike is going to be ×2 critical damage increase. Alrighty, guys, now in terms of where we're actually going to be ranking this Victoria character in PvE content, I think honestly she's going to be a solid A tier character. Now, again, guys, I'm not actually ranking the characters in the actual like tiers themselves. So if I put Victoria here, it's not to say that Victoria is better than all these other characters. I just think that she is an option that you can run on pretty much all demonic beasts, and she's a really good one at that. You know, in other just general PvE content, she's unknown race as well. She's going to benefit a lot from just running like you know, Nanashi, you know, Freyr and all that. Like, she's really good because of that too. And yeah, just in general, I mean, this character is just a very insane PvE unit, guys. So definitely one of the better ones in the game, and I'm very glad of what they've done with Victoria, because she is really, really good. Now, hopping into the PvP side of things, guys, in terms of where we're actually going to put Victoria, I actually do think right now in the meta that Unknown team is a very, very strong team in PvP. And so honestly, in my opinion, I actually would have Victoria somewhere in this realm. Now, what I'm actually going to do, guys, is I'm actually going to lower the Sins team to probably the bottom here of this list, in the S tier specifically. And my main reasoning for that is because, at least right now in the meta, I've kind of seen a lot of use with unknown humans and demons, really, and I haven't really seen too much Sins. So I think Sins is kind of taking a little bit of a back seat, and I think in general they're not as strong as the teams above. So what we're gonna do here, guys, as well, is we're gonna move up Albedo, we're gonna move up Hell. You know, we're going to keep Gother there because I think Gother is a viable option on the team. I'm going to move up Tyr as well. And I'm also going to move up Nanashi because there is a lot of variety that you can run for this unknown team. And I think it is really, really good. Also, Gelda is an option on this team as well. But in general, I mean, you're most likely just going to run like kind of an unknown-centric team specifically, guys. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I think Victoria right now with the unknown team is the second best team in PvP right now. I do think that we would probably move Demons down to number 3 then as well. And you guys will understand when we talk about the team that did get buffed here with one of the older characters that have come with the Rising of the Shield Hero collaboration here, guys. So what we'll do is we'll just do this. So now we have the human team, but we are going to move LRSNOR down to A tier because there is a specific variant of the team that you want to be running. And also, Yuri, I think, also will take, I don't know, because you can run her, right? You can definitely run her on humans now, but she might take a backseat a little bit as well, guys. But I think I'll put her in A tier for now. But yeah, we're gonna grab right now, just so you guys understand why I'm doing this on the list, and we're gonna grab now Fumi right now and instantly put him in the S tier, guys, because human team right now in PvP, in my opinion, is the #1 team in the game. It might not be the most fun team, but it's definitely the strongest team because you have now Fumi drawing damage away. You got Arthur also being a secondary taunt character, but also mainly being the damage dealer. So now that you can draw damage away from Arthur with now Fumi, he's able to just kind of go crazy, and this would be the exact team you'd want to run, guys. So Bond, now Fumi, Arthur, LR, Liz, and I think that team pretty much beats all the other teams in the S tier here. And I think, you know what we'll do, actually, I am gonna move Sins down to A tier just so that we only have 3 teams always in the S tier. I think we always want to have at least 3 3 teams at the top of the meta, 3 or 2 teams, right? But right now I do think that these 3 teams in the meta, guys, are going to be the ones you want to run. So humans, and then probably unknown or demons is probably arguable, so you could argue either or. I don't know right now. I guess unknowns right now might be a little bit better. But Demon King Melios is still a threat, and obviously Gelda is still really good too. So kind of a toss-up, but honestly, I don't really mind like these placements, guys. But mainly, just so you guys know, humans are the top of the meta right now because of now Fumi's buff and what he's able to do now. For you guys wondering what his buff was as well, because I didn't really, go into it in depth. I'll pull up the game real quick and I'll show you guys, but pretty much all it was is that now Fumi now works specifically for the human team in that he's going to be providing damage dealt and damage reduction. So that's kind of the idea here with now Fumi, guys. So I'll pull him up real quick just to show you guys the effect in his passive. But it's right here. So human allies damage dealt increases by 30% and damage reduction by 40. And then he also just did get a general stat buff to make this character viable in content nowadays. So that's the main reasoning right there, guys, for now Fumi and where we actually placed him on the list. So that's going to be that right there, and that's the PvP and PvE section of the tier list with Victoria. So now let's actually move on to Glass here, guys, and we'll talk about where she's going to be ranked on both the PvE and PvP sides of the tier list. Alrighty, guys, so this is going to be the brand new character Glass that also did release with the Rising of the Shield Hero collaboration. Now, in terms of Glass's kit here, guys, let's actually read her passive. So the Warrior of the Vassal Fan increases the hero's basic stats by 7% for each unknown race ally participating in the battle. The hero gains 1 soul power whenever an unknown race ally uses a skill. Conversely, 1 soul power is removed whenever the hero uses a skill, and whenever 1 soul power is removed, the hero's pierce rate increases by 30% up to 90. When the soul powers stack is maxed out, the effects are removed, and the hero's crit chance increases by 30%, and their pierce rate increases by 150 for 3 turns. So in terms of the soul power buff itself, guys, it's going to be defense related ability plus 10% and can be stacked up to 3 times. Now moving on to our Holy Relic here, guys, increases the hero's critical chance by 20% up to 60 each time one soul power is removed from the hero. So you're going to get up to 60% extra crit chance just for, you know, using your skills with this character. So definitely a pretty big bonus right there. Now hopping into Glass's actual skills here, guys, her first skill here is going to be Soul Steal, which is going to be damage dealt 40% for each soul power on the hero, and then ×2 pierce rate increase. It's just going to inflict 190, 285, 475 right there. And then moving on to her second skill here, guys, this is going to just be straight up pierce rate. So ×3 pierce rate increase. So inflicts pierce at 200%, 300%, and 500% of attack. And then moving on to her ultimate here, guys, this is going to be her ultimate Circle Dance of Nothingness Moon Break. Increases all allies' basic stats by 30% for 3 turns and inflicts damage equal to 400% of attack on all enemies. Then applies 1 soul power effect on the hero. And this is going to be at the 1 out of 6, guys. So definitely really good, the fact that it's giving full 30% basic stats rate. Alrighty, guys, now where are we going to be ranking Glass on the PvP and PvE tier list? So for PvP, let's talk about that first. PvP, Glass is not really a meta unknown right now, I would say. I think if anything, she's gonna be kind of around like here. You can definitely run her on you know, unknown team in PvP, and I think she's gonna be good. But I think she kind of fits the same, like, you know, kind of viable unknown characters that are like Freyr, like Ghislaine, you know, Freya, Echidna. Like, they're good characters in unknown team, but they're not like just super insane characters, and I don't really think Glass really feels that crazy because of that. So I'm not going to be able to put her super high in the S tier or anything like that. Even with Vittoria being on unknown team and all that, I don't think that Glass really needs to be on that team to be successful either. So yeah, no, I think personally right now, she is still a standard meta character. You can run her, but she's not going to be as insane as like Vittoria, or even like Hell, Albedo tier, like any of those characters on the unknown team. So. And then moving on to the PvE side of things, guys, I think Glass in PvE actually is a very, very good character, though. I'm going to probably put her in the same spot as Vittoria in the A tier, where you can pretty much use her in like all PvE content in the game, and she's going to do really well. She is double single target oriented, so she's not really like a farming unit, mainly for like demonic beast content. And when you're running around like a full unknown team, she's going to be really, really strong. So honestly, I think, you know, A tier is definitely fitting. She's not going to be, you know, like beating like Ratatosk or anything like that, where Vittoria is able to do that. But I'm not gonna, you know, hold that back from Glass, because I think a lot of characters in the game can't beat, you know, Ratatosk right now, guys, in general. So yeah, I think Glass is definitely really good in PvE, and I'm gonna give her the A tier right there, guys. Alright, guys, now before we actually hop into the Valenti here as the final unit for the tier list, I actually do want to change some things on the PvE side of things for the Rising of the Shield Hero characters. Now, in terms of the characters here that we can actually move up, one of them would actually be Raphtalia and Naofumi. So Raphtalia I'm going to actually put in the B tier, and also I'm going to move Naofumi up to not A tier, but definitely B tier as well. And my main reasoning for this is because Raphtalia is now a universal HP and damage reduction support, so you don't necessarily have to run her on that mono blue team, and you can run her on a lot of other teams now, you know, mainly being unknown. And I think with that, she's going to be a lot stronger, and, you know, her damage in general is going to be really good. Now Naofumi, because he's able to provide damage down, damage reduction for human team, that is pretty good. But in PvE content, human team is not really going to be that insane, unless you're running it for single target damage, which Naofumi isn't able to do other than his ultimate. And, you know, when you're running like the Roxy team right here, guys, you can't really run Naofumi on that. Again, because I mentioned he doesn't have any single target skills, so he is a good option as like a taunt unit on like the bird, let's say. But I mean, other than that, he's not going to be that crazy, so I am going to move him up to at least B tier there. And then for Philo, I gotta find Philo here on my PvE tier list. Yeah, so Philo I think will also go to the B tier in niche specifically, because I think she's gonna be one of the best farming units in the game now, just because she auto applies the crit resistance, crit defense lower debuff, right? That's going to be really strong. It's kind of just like Tyr, where, you know, Tyr is able to be a really strong farming unit, and Vittoria as well is able to do that. I think the only thing that Vittoria kind of lacks is that Tyr's damage is a lot better, and Tyr's support for the team is a lot better as well. So I think other than that, though, I think Philo is definitely going to be a solid B tier. Now Philo on the PvP side of things, I think could actually go up a little bit as well, wherever I have her here. I gotta look for Philo, guys, so give me a second, let me find her, and then we'll actually move her up on the list. Alrighty guys, we got Philo from all the way down in the D tier here. We're actually going to move her up to at least, I would say, the A tier here for unknown characters specifically. I think she's in the same boat as Glass, where you can definitely run her on the unknown team in PvP, but she's not going to be as insane as, you know, Tier, Hell, Albedo. I think those are like the mainstays for unknown as options alongside Vittoria. I mean, Philo is obviously, you know, same race as Vittoria in the sense of like the show, so if you want to run them together just for like the Fioral combo, I think that's definitely pretty cool. But other than that though guys, I mean, she's going to be kind of the same level as these other unknown centric characters here that I have on the list. So not super insane, but I think they're definitely you know, fairly good alongside that. So yeah guys, let's hop into the final character being the Valenti here. Now for PvP though, I am actually just gonna put her in the bottom of PvP because she's a character that, or I guess I'll put her in C, because she does have one thing that I'll mention in specifically for like Chaos Battle that I think is pretty good, but other than that it's not gonna be that insane. So we'll talk about Valenti here guys, but I am gonna put her in the C tier for PvP. And then for the PVE tier list, actually I'm going to put her in A. So let's talk about her. I'm going to pull her up here and we'll talk about the kit. Alright guys, so we got the Full Metal Engineer Valenti of Obsession. Now the main reason why I put her in the C tier in PvP is because she does have AoE release. Now this is a very strong effect because if you're running her in Chaos Battle alongside Jelly King, where you're able to apply a bleed and then instantly do this release, especially if Jelly King hits very, very hard, this card will hit insanely hard guys. If you've seen any of Merly's videos where he showcased this character for PvP, you'll see that she's actually not a bad character in that. So in that sense, like for Chaos Battle specifically, so I am going to give her the benefit of the doubt in C tier right there, but she's not a PvP centric character though guys. If we look at her passive here, she is mainly a PvE character. So in Demonic Beast Battle, 1 debuff is removed from allies and their attack related stats increase by 8% up to 40 whenever the hero uses a skill and inflicts damage on an enemy. If the hero uses an all target attack skill and deals damage to enemies hit by the attacks are poisoned for 2 turns, and in addition, if all allies participating in the battle are of different races, their HP related stats will increase by 20%, and heroes with additional races count as 2 separate races. And then moving on to her Holy Relic here, guys. Not anything super insane with this because she's always had this Holy Relic. But if a critical strike occurs from an attack from the enemy onto the hero. So for our Holy Relic here, guys, if a critical strike occurs from an enemy's attack on one of the hero's allies, the hero's attack is increased by 8% up to 5 times. So whenever she is pretty much crit on, it's going to be increasing her base attack, guys, which is pretty decent right there. And then moving on to her skills here, guys. Her first skill is going to be the Shock Single Target, which is going to be good on Wrap because you want to be able to apply Shock, and this is going to be a ranged skill. And it's going to scale from 160, 240, and 400. And then moving on to her AoE, as I mentioned, it's going to be AoE Release. So it's going to be, you know, also technically a poison skill as well because it's AoE, right? As mentioned in her passive. So it's going to do 120, 180, and 300. And the release is going to scale up as well, depending on the skill ranks. And then moving on to her ultimate here, guys, is going to be Event Horizon, which is going to increase damage dealt by 50% and decrease damage taken by 50. Then inflicts damage equal to 350% of attack on all enemies. So just a standard kind of like buff effect right there though, guys. So yeah, man, that's my main reasoning though for where I actually rank the character. Valenti is one of the main Ratatosker units right now, so she has to be at the bare minimum at least A tier. I'm not going to give her the S tier in the sense that, you know, because she's the best in Rat, I don't think, you know, that would make her like better than all these other characters here, because I think, you know, she has that viability, but I don't think she's, just because she's good in Rat, that makes her better than all these other characters. So whereas like LR Liz is really good in Rat and really good in everything else, same with DK Melly, whereas I don't think Valenti is as crazy as those two characters. So I'm going to give Valenti the A tier. And then again, guys, for PvP, C tier because of the fact that you can run her in Chaos Battle and she has that niche. So there we go, guys. That is pretty much the updated PvP and PvE tier list here, guys. I am combining these videos from now on, guys, so we'll have only 1 tier list video a month instead of 2. It just to be a little bit, you know, more concise, so you guys don't have to watch 2 separate videos every time, just to condense the information. So yeah, man, that's gonna be the tier list right there. I'll scroll through, and you guys can like kind of pause if you want to see where a character is ranked. But yeah, that is pretty much the tier list right there though, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's gonna be it, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video, man. Peace out and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.